All right, then. Hello, humanity. You are created by God and loved by your Creator. Let's get right into this evening. What's unique about this video is that I'm not recording it at the wee hours of the morning, trying to get it in, calling it Monday night. It is definitely Tuesday. And I missed getting this to you yesterday, and I will share more about that as I talk about tonight's content. So hopefully this will literally only be 15 minutes. When I tell you that I'm tired and it's been a full week is just a little bit of an understatement, and it's been incredibly rewarding. Even as I come to you right now, there's so much that I want to talk about right now that's unfolding that I literally am thankful that I got some notes down this morning and I'm coming to you with some notes. So I will share that with you. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Deborah-Naomi. I'm a Detroiter, I'm a Michigander, and I am using this platform to capture content I might want to read, write, or speak about later. And I'm sharing it because maybe what I'm processing while you're listening, you will find some value, and then you'll make some shifts in your own life. Not because I said something profound, but maybe something about what's going on with you resonated, and maybe you just saw a pathway to take some action steps. And whatever the case might be, maybe you're tuning in to me to get some laughs because my life is that ridiculous. I don't know, but I am excited about what I'm coming to you about tonight. So again, it is Tuesday. I normally post on Monday. And yesterday I had the privilege of being with my aunt as she was moved into an assisted living situation. Very much a very strange red letter day. My aunt and I share a lot of attributes in the fact that we're both not married, we don't have any children, single, and we have resided in the house of our parents for some time now. Yeah, a little bit of information about me. I have been in my parents' home. Long story and some content I'll share at a future date, mostly because for my health and well-being, it was in my best interest to live in an environment that I knew was safe. So that being said, tonight's podcast. Not quite a podcast. Mostly just content. Maybe one day it'll be a podcast when I'm cool and awesome and I do my eyebrows and maybe even wear lipstick and don't have that weird mark on my face and I don't feel tired, sleepy, and maybe even shower. I don't know. But for right now, this is not a podcast because I'm a hot mess. What can I tell you? So, that being the case, gratitude. I'm always coming with my gratitude. For one, the safe relocation of my aunt. Two, a new relationship to rest. I can't wait to talk about that. And then the third thing I'm really thankful for lately has been growth, and then mentally being able to move myself, kind of like a flexibility. And then, of course, kindness, truth, honesty, and being me. All some pretty great things that came up and were really profound in this past week and a day. And I'll be looking forward to sharing it with you. So a little bit of back history. So Sunday night, I'm on the phone with a friend of mine. He and I, about 2 years ago, started into a leadership training and development course. And we've just kind of stayed friends ever since. It's mostly because I think he's awesome and I'm going to pester him and not leave him alone in life. So, but we've had really great conversations. He's come to be a very influential person inside of my thinking and processing. So I'm very thankful that he's in my life. And every now and again, he says stuff that I'm like, dude, that just sounds crazy, but somehow it carries some weight because, well, it usually shows up in my life. And I'm like, ugh, I hate that he's right. So that being said, I was catching up with this friend, and this is what I was talking about. I was talking about finding a brand for myself and really embracing my skill set, like what do I offer as a person, and just really grappling with it in this past week as I'm looking to launch myself inside of business ownership as opposed to just being an employee. Long history, or long story rather, a little bit of a long history, but for some of you who don't know, for the month of March, I did not work. February 14th, I put in my 2 weeks notice. February 28th was the last day. March 1st, filed my taxes, and then I've been on this adventure of discovering who I am inside of business ownership and being the business. And it's been beautiful and confronting and stretching and really stretching and even more stretching. So I just feel like, emotionally speaking, I may actually have stretch marks. I think my brain I think my brain might have stretch marks. There's been a lot of stretching, a lot. And the discomfort, what can I tell you? If discomfort was cheesecake, it'd be awesome. But discomfort is not cheesecake. And this podcast is not going to be about cheesecake. So anyway, I was talking to my friend and I was talking about several things. And we kind of rewound the clock in our conversation and went back to 2020. And he was like, well, why are you doing all these things now? And I was like, dude, I didn't sign up for these things. I didn't say I wanted to do these things. I said, in fact, I was just trying to go to grad school and get my act together. And then all these other things popped up into my life. Here's the things that popped up into my life from 2020 until now. First of all, I was ending my academic season at Wayne State University. So end of the 2019, wrapping that up. And what launched into my life that I didn't see coming was preparing for graduate school, but then massage therapy, being a part of a leadership training and development program that I was not planning to do, the opportunity to grow myself inside of financial services, voiceover opportunity popped in, writing also popped up, and then speaking also has come into my life. So there's just a number of things that I'm up to right now that feels like I'm pulled everywhere, and every single one of them are incredibly fulfilling. I just feel like a tumbleweed and severely disoriented while I'm grappling with the bigness of myself, like the greatness of myself, the skill, the talent, the what's possible, just being me. So really confronting, really confronting. Did I mention that I'm confronted? I'm really confronted. So in case you're in a season of your life where you're like, what's the next thing? And it shows up and you're like, whoa, I did not say I wanted to do all that. Somewhere maybe you may have. Check your journal entries, maybe a conversation you had with somebody, a new opportunity you were looking for, and it totally takes you aback and you're like, what? I'm there. I'm there. I kind of want to be like, just kidding, Jesus, just kidding. No, all the things I said that I wanted, they have all shown up and all at once. And getting a rhythm and pacing myself is what there is to deal with. I really hope my therapist watched this video because he might decide that I need to schedule an appointment. Which, by the way, I was actually in touch with one of my therapists previously while I was at Wayne State. Brilliant human being. I'm looking forward to sharing with you more about conversations as I reflect on some of my growth and development, having conversations with my therapists. It's been quite the journey. Okay, back to today. So for this week, I think the word for this past week is adventure. So many things that I want to talk about, so many things I want to highlight. And my brain is turning to mush as I tell you this because I'm clear I've got some obligations tomorrow. So I'm just going to try to hold steady, and we're 8 minutes in. So for today, relocating my aunt. And I'm looking at my notes here, so if I look down, that's what I'm looking at. One of the things that I am looking at is this past weekend, I was in a training session on Saturday, and the phrase that caught my attention was, you can never do enough to be. Like there's not enough doing you could do in life to validate your being. You exist in like just divine right. You are created and you be. And so there's a lot of activity around what I'm doing, right? There's a lot of activity in the doing. But when I do from the place of trying to get things done, I become a taskmaster. I'm driven. Yeah, stuff is getting done, but I'm not actually getting it done wholeheartedly and being present. I feel like I check out. In fact, I know I check out. And most of us do. We turn our being on and off in a way where like we show up for something and then we survive other things. And I just realized I think I want to just show up for my life. And I'm looking to create a life I don't want to escape. And so being with my aunt yesterday was this invitation to stop, to slow down, to acknowledge that there's a big shift happening for, this wonderful 81-year-old woman that I call Auntie. And I want to be there for moving day. So I cruise on over to Chick-fil-A and grab something yummy and take it over to her and just be with her. And we got a lot of things accomplished, yes, because there's always doing to be done on moving day. But it got me this beautiful opportunity just being there with her. And to be honest with you, I was going over there because we had made plans a week ago and a day ago that I would come back over and support her in writing her obituary. She said she wanted to write it. It came up in conversation. I asked her. She said yes. And so I asked her yesterday on moving day, do you want to write today? And she said no. And I was really thankful that she said no, mostly because I was really excited that she was caught up in the joy of being relocated to a living environment that she really is looking forward to, she's willing to explore, just the sense of independence that she's going to have. And so I really just got to be with my aunt, and I got to experience myself in the space of being in choosing to be when there was just so much to do. And my aunt had a really great experience. So I had a great experience. It's a memory that I'll keep. I'm really thankful for it. It feels very odd because she's lived in my grandparents' home and their house looks kind of empty now that some of her stuff has moved out. And I'm not really sure what to do with all of the mixed feelings, but I'm definitely being with them. And I'm not trying to tell them what to do or shove them or push them down, but really just go through the experience of change. So that for me was a big deal. The other thing was the mental shift in my mindset, because it seems to be a season of switching, shifting, and relocating. And my mindset is definitely taking a shift. I'm in the space of moving from being an employee to business owner. And that's a leap. Like, it's a whole leap. And the comfort of collecting a paycheck versus being responsible for generating it, or if you don't generate it, you don't eat. Which, by the way, today I made this white bean chicken chili, and then I made cornbread today that someone actually bought from me. They paid me $20 for a pan of cornbread. You guys, listen, it is a Jiffy box mix, and I told her that it is a Jiffy box mix. Now, yes, there's like a few ingredients that I add, and instead of following the instructions on the back, I kind of do my own thing. But I don't think it warranted buying. But I'm a businesswoman now. I'm not going to pass up an opportunity. You want to buy my cornbread? You are welcome to buy my cornbread. Anyway, I did that. So inside of this mental shift, I'm just really still grappling with what there is for me to accomplish. And there's been a great deal. First of all, the shift in my mindset is a completely different environment. So for me, there is something available in my actions that wasn't there before because I've made this shift, and it's a big shift. And I kind of want to talk about shifting and mindset a lot more, and this is not the video for that. So I'll have to remember to come back and talk about, shifting and mindset. Hopefully I'll remember, but hey, that's what this video is for. The big news with all of that is that I'm pretty sure that going forward from here on out, I'm going to relate to myself as a brand. There are several skill sets and disciplines and things that I enjoy that I have that generate income, and I want to do all of them. And there's room for me to do all of them. They're each going to take time to develop their own level of proficiency and excellence, so they'll be at different levels, but they're all doable. And what I like about it is it allows me to use my brain and my body differently. So like giving massage is one thing, but when my body fatigues or needs to rest from a massage, doing something with my voice is different, or maybe doing something in conversation with people offers me something that's not physically got a demand to it. Even though the physical demand of massage is rejuvenating and restorative for me, you should take a break because, when the body works, it also needs to rest. So the other thing I discovered is I had a meeting regarding voiceover, and the gentleman that I'll be working with let me know that it was very, it was comical to me because he said, "Hey, you're cheap." And it made me go back and reevaluate what is it going to take for me to price myself for a market that actually has that is actually looking for what I have. And so I'm excited about that. Um, oh, this new relationship to rest. Coming back around and wrapping up this video. I can never do enough to be. I can never do enough to be. You can never do enough to be. You know, I would listen to an episode of a podcast, Crystal Evans Hurst. She was talking about resting and that there are like 7 different kinds of rest, which I totally believe. I haven't done the research on it, but you can check out our podcast if you'd like. But something has just begun to resonate with me about operating from a place of rest. That my activity of the busyness of the doing be grounded and rooted in coming from rest. The reason why this video is actually late is when I got home from being with my aunt, I was spent. In fact, I felt invested. I would say exhausted, but I was tired. Exhausted has a definition of being consumed and used up. But invested for me resonates as if I've been taken and consumed for the sake of forwarding something else, not to just be used up to a big fat zero, but rather invested resonates with me as being at some level expended and released to bring forth something else. As women, and I get that not everybody watching this is a woman, but I'm clear that as a woman, no matter what I'm doing, I am going to nurture, cultivate, and create. As human beings, we are going to do that. But even more so, I think specifically as a woman, the fact that we nurture for the sake of growth and for the sake of, healing and developing and creating, we're always going to be giving birth to something. And even though I'm single, not married, and no children, it doesn't change that attribute and characteristic of who I am. And so I'm always being mindful. I can never do enough to be. When we talk about being creative, we say that be creative, like it's a way of being. We don't have it that, do your creativity. You may do your craft, but you're creative. It's who you are. It's a way of being. And so for me, this giving birth to a brand, giving birth to acknowledging skill sets, giving birth to, creating a dollar value next to the service I render. It's eye-opening for me that working from a place of rest is critical. Most of the time when a woman is carrying a child, it is not the time that she's going to run a marathon. It is not the time she's going to do the Tough Mudder. It is not the time she's going to be like a spin cyclist. It is not the time she's going to add stressors to her body while managing this internal a level of stress, but at the same time, this internal change that's happening in her body for the sake of what she's giving life to. And so no matter whether I carry a child, if ever, or not, I'm always carrying a creative force that I'm giving birth to. And as much as I want to be responsible for all of that, I know that I need to be careful with my emotional mindset around, stress and all these other kinds of things. So, working from a place of rest has really been resonating with me. And that phrase, I can never do enough to be, is just this small shift, this small change in my thinking that will have big results. When tectonic plates around the center of the earth, make a shift, no matter how small the shift is, it shows up in a big way on the surface. It's usually disastrous. And so I'm aware of that with stress for myself, but I'm also aware of like what's available in terms of healing when I work from a place of rest. I'm totally going to reference Moana here because remember the mountain and its life-giving force was like lava and volcanic and eruptive and crazy. And then when it had its heart restored, it was like green and beautiful and gracious and enjoyable and pleasant. I think it's kind of like that when we work from rest versus working from stress. And so at the end of this video, I'm really hoping that you, if you got anything of value out of this today, that you get the one as a human being, the creative force at work in you. And coming from a place of rest just continues to expand that. So yeah, there's going to be work to do. There will be actions to take, I guess is the better way to say it. But who you're being when you take those actions will have a profound impact on who you are about the outcomes. Not about it may have a profound effect on the outcomes. I'm not going to say that, but who you are on the other side of those outcomes. I'll say more about that in another video because I think a lot of times we look at, I'll push myself to accomplish such and thing so I can achieve X, Y, and Z result. And not only do you want the result, you want the person that you're going to be on the other side of achieving that result, somebody that you really want to be. Sometimes we achieve things and it alters us. And when we get on the other side of the achievement, we're not anybody that we recognize. And I mean that in a way like, that thing you did not do you any favors. It changed you for the worse. Whereas inside of choosing how we be about something and being committed to who we're being in our growth and development and have it be, for lack of a better phrase, a positive impact, that we be a contribution in that journey. When we get on the other side of what we achieve, I think there's an opportunity to really appreciate who you became in the process. I'll wrap up with this. I'm pretty sure there was more that I wanted to share with you and maybe I missed it. Nope, I think I actually got everything. So I want to share this with you. A friend of mine shared with me the joys of boiling water and cooking. I don't know who shared this with me, but someone was telling me, when life comes to you, you know, sometimes life, when it comes to you, will just not be a set of circumstance you want. And in this case, in this example, it's boiling water. They said when that's the environment that you're having to deal with, you can either be like an egg in the boiling water and it becomes hard, or you can be like a carrot and placed in boiling water, it becomes soft. Said, or you could be a coffee bean and change the water. I did not originate with that, but I absolutely love it. And right now, I'm pretty sure the climate in my life is boiling water. And I've chosen not to, give in to it. I've chosen not to, become worse off as a result of it, but looking to stay in that environment and affect change such that it's something that becomes pleasing, it's even aromatic and pleasant, is a journey. And I am in the middle of that journey. So I hope you got something of value. And I guess here's to being coffee. All right, I'll talk to you later.